What's going on, man? How are you?
I'm chilling, man. A lot of stuff is popping at the NRW. Got a lot of love. Shout out to all the studios, PR firms that's been hooking us up. Shout out to Netflix, man. I got a new favorite show.
What is
that everybody else will be seeing soon that I can't wait for the rest of the world so I can talk about it because I can't talk about it right now.
What
for legal reasons.
What people might not know is that you are one of the busiest men working right now as far as all of the things you got going on.
Trying, man.
One of the things is you do interviews at the Show Pal Show. You do reviews on NRW, which you're heading that. It's amazing. What's like the most difficult part of having the screener access to like screeners and the giveaways and stuff like that? Like what do you find difficult with that?
Finding the time to actually watch the shit because I am working so hard. And that's really it is like I'll get a screener and then probably won't get a chance to watch it till like say midnight. And if I'm doing the interview the following day, is just I got to put that time in so I can come with knowledge of what to talk about. Although I kind of have like a preset batch of questions that I already kind of prep internally for those interviews, but I like to come with knowledge on the characters and have some firsthand knowledge on it in case there's like additional anecdotes that I want to add to that.
So you do the homework.
I do the homework. Yeah, I try to do the work, the due diligence, look up their IMDb, see what stuff they have going down. Just do some journal research, check out their Twitter, their IG, come with that a little bit. But yeah, sometimes though, I think the hardest part is the screeners, finding the time. And if the movie is actually good, because sometimes, let's be honest, it's trash.
Are you contractually
and it makes the interview difficult.
Are you contractually obligated to do the interview? Like, let's say you watch the movie and it's trash, you have to do the interview?
If I generally how I book it, I'm already requesting to do the interview at the same time I'm requesting the screener. So I'm already putting myself out there to do the interview for them.
Gotcha. So I mean,
when I come across a hard film, it's just I find another way about it because I also appreciate the craft. And it's let's be honest, it's also not. While you think you're making a good film, you could say all the elements, DC Comics, Wonder Woman, 1984. Can't go wrong with that, right? I have Wonder Woman. It's a DC film. The fucking film's trash, bro. Let's be honest. You know what I'm saying? So it could have all the ingredients, but it's hard to make a film. I will say it's a beautiful looking film, great cast. It's shot, very well. So I take into account when I'm doing an interview, the filmmaking aspect of it, because even the actors don't know that they're making a shit film. At least
they have to. They have to know at some point.
To a degree, you know what I'm saying? You can't control the editing process.
That I get, but
you can't control costuming. Like, I don't know. Like, I don't know what that initial script looked like when Gal Gadot read that, and at the end.
And I haven't been like a main character or starring role in a big production, but I can't imagine like there's got to be a point where you just sit there and go, "Oh yeah, this." Let's hope for the best. Like, let go, let God. Like, I'm curious, like, at what point after the movie's out, right? The movie is released. It's gone through its cycle. It's on demand. It's now syndicated, whatever it is. Like, at what point does an actor feel comfortable to be honest about, yeah, that one got away from me?
I'd say probably, if it were me, I'd wait 5 to 10 years. I wouldn't want to say, because I don't want to fuck up the business. I don't want to fuck up my connections.
Do you think that
brutally honest right now? Like, I would wait 5 to 10 years.
Do you, like, as an actor, do you think it's like a 5 or 10 year cycle before you could actually talk shit about whatever you were in prior?
Say if I was in a film,
if you were in a film, like, for example,
I would wait 5 to 10 years. Yes.
Okay. Gotcha.
That's
like, hey,
that's what I would do.
So in 10 years from now, you go, hey, Gal, quick question. Like, at what point did you realize that this movie was going to be shit? Like, in what scene were you filming where you're like, oh yeah, this is horrific?
Well, I wouldn't say during filmmaking at all. Like, I don't. Well,
I've been on set and go,
yeah,
oh, like,
you know what? I take that back. Yeah, if on set, you'll know. But would I say anything about it? I would know. I would wait 5 to 10 years before I would say that.
gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would love to have a sit down with, like, let's say Nicolas Cage. And he's like, let's start looking at some of your movies 20 years ago. Okay. Let's talk about Swordfish or whatever. Let's go. Or no, think Snake Eyes. Let's talk about Snake Eyes.
I've never seen that one too.
Right.
I did see Swordfish though, because Halle Berry's titties.
Was that Nicolas Cage?
Hugh Jackman. Hugh Jackman, but it starred Halle Berry's titties.
And John Travolta was in it?
Yes. And Don Cheadle.
I feel like Don Cheadle would be that guy that goes, hey, listen, let me tell you that this is the best version of it. I've seen 4 other versions of it. Woo. Speaking of like being on set, I'm sure you heard Alec Baldwin.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. I was wondering, I hadn't talked about this on a podcast yet. So
what is your take from start to finish? Oh, before you answer that, Alec Baldwin was in a movie where he was supposed to have a prop gun, and the prop gun was loaded. It was an actually loaded weapon, and he ended up injuring one person and killing somebody else. A director and director of photography.
Yeah, the DP. I want to give her some love because
please,
Helena Hutchinson, the cinematographer, the DP. Yeah.
What is your?
There's more talk about him when she died. She shouldn't have passed. She shouldn't have been killed. So for me, I've dealt with weapons a lot of times on set, and every time I've dealt with weapons on set, proper handling of the weapon. You had an armor, you had stunts involved. Everybody, there was so many hands involved when you actually had a weapon that fired blanks. It was a live weapon outside of like rubber weapons, but even rubber weapons were properly controlled.
Yes.
So this whole incident should not have occurred at all. And when I heard all the stories, the aftermath coming off of it, it's heartbreaking, bro. And it angers me to the nth degree. There were reports of, crew, because also at the time of this, of the filmmaking, we were getting ready to have a big crew strike, AATSE, AATSE. I'm going to brutalize the acronym, the meaning of the acronym. So I'm just going to say IATSE. But they were getting ready to go on strike because of just the unfair conditions that they put on crew for making these big budget films. Yep. You got people working golden hours, 14-hour work days, every day. Insane amount of times sleeping in their cars and not booking them in hotels because they're trying to save money on projects. It's outrageous. The conditions that they put a lot of these crews through in order to make a film. Union
jobs.
Exactly.
It's the cream of the crop.
Yeah. It's absolutely insane. And so, there were reports that the majority of the crew walked off set, even like that morning that this happened. But the DP, Helena Hutchins, stayed on to just, I guess shoot a couple scenes because she felt she could do it and she wanted to see this film succeed. It hurts. It's just unfortunate. It shouldn't have happened. The AD, the director, heads should roll on this in every way. The production company, I can't even see them. If this film were to get finished, like, really, you're going to continue on with this? Like, everybody should. I
don't see it. I don't see this production finishing. As my Facebook is full of comedians and everyone's trying to find a joke. And I get it because we joke about everything.
Yeah.
But just the heartbreaking of Alec Baldwin didn't show up to work, didn't wake up that morning being like, yeah, let me be a dick. I'm going to take somebody's life. Like, that's not something that,
yeah.
And Alec Baldwin's been in the industry since the 70s. Like,
yeah.
Some new YouTube kid, first time on set. Yeah, I'll give me gun. Pew, 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 pew. Yeah, let me be this guy. Alec Baldwin is not that guy, first and foremost. And I would say that I've been on set, and even the rubber weapons, like you're speaking of, like, I don't get to play around with that. Like, when I need to have it, they'll give it to me. And then when I don't need to have it, I don't have it anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So to pick up a projectile weapon, you understand that I'm going in under the impression that it's been checked 15 times by 20 different people.
And you're even shown it. I don't know about you, but like there's a
yes,
it's fire. There's a like a trash can filled with sand on the sets I've been on. Like you get issued the gun. You get shown, opened everything. Then you get brought over to a trash can where they fire into the trash can to show you there's nothing even left in the barrel chamber. All of that, all of these precautions, and still you're walked hand in hand onto set. Just everything at the utmost protection, and I was heartbroken, bro. Like, it's insane. Even on smaller sets that's been done, and it bothers me how this occurred.
Yeah, people don't think, for whatever reason, there's a disconnect of like how set life is and what it actually is, where, you know, there's hundreds of people with a dozen different jobs doing different things, but you aren't left alone with first of all, there shouldn't have been live rounds anywhere within miles of the set, right? There's no reason to have live ammunition anywhere on set, first and foremost. Second of all, like, you are told specifically where to fire, which direction. There was fuck ups from start to finish. Like, there is Alec Baldwin's fault? I don't think so. I think out of everyone, Alec Baldwin's probably the least person to get in trouble or like have responsibility. As an actor, you talk to the armor. Is this ready? Is this set ready? Yes, it is. Okay. Why would I question it? It's not even my job to question it. I've been on set with a projectile weapon and I've asked, like, oh, is this ready? And then they look at me like I'm the asshole. Like, yeah, we do our job. We're good at our job. It's ready. Like, if it wasn't ready, I wouldn't be giving it to you. And you know, people want Alec Baldwin's head. I don't think he's the first one to blame. He's not even the top 5 people to blame.
Yeah. I feel personal responsibility. I don't know. I don't think he's to blame, but also when I'm an actor on set, even after things are checked, I'm checking everything for myself. So I agree with you, but then also there's like I don't know, there's certain kind of self-responsibility that I would have taken too.
But you're actually not supposed to. Technically, you're not supposed to.
Yeah.
The thing that people don't understand, if you've never been on set, is like, if something falls, right? This thing falls off the table. That's not your job to pick up as an actor. As an actor,
I agree.
I agree. If you double check a weapon, which, I mean, you should, right?
Yeah.
Technically, you are in the wrong.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know, because I think because I have military training and I have all that, I would have looked at it every which way. Yeah. I'm so precautious. Yeah. Because
as you should be.
Bruh. Yeah. I've done a ton of security industrials here in the DC area. I'm, you know, just look at me. I get nothing but thug rolls. Of course they're giving me a gun in the shit. I'm used to it. So it's
They're
just
asking
like,
you, oh my God, you have a gun? Can you bring a gun?
You know, like, what the fuck? I'm so blown. I think heads need a roll. There needs to be accountability on what went down.
Yeah. I mean, I would like, you know, I would like to figure out what went wrong in the.
Yeah. There's rumors I've heard from people that, you know, because again, industry is small, that friend of a friend worked on set, that there's just different things that were occurring, and it blows my mind, man.
I was in Albuquerque at the time when that
Oh, are you
happened.
serious?
And I missed out hanging out with some friends because they were on set. I have a buddy who was on set and took a picture literally 10 minutes before it happened. Like as the AD was going into the church, he took a picture and posted it.
Shut the fuck up, bro.
And
I do remember you were in Albuquerque, and I didn't realize it was at the same time frame.
And talking to them, they were saying, yeah, a lot of new faces.
Because everybody walked out, right? That was the whole thing.
Yep. I mean, this is the reason why you need to be in a union. This is the reason why you need to be on a union job. This is the reason why unions exist. Yeah.
It's heartbreaking, dude. It's so heartbreaking.
Heartbreaking and avoidable.
Completely avoidable.
Yeah.
She shouldn't have died.
Yeah, I would like to read more details, like more specific details. But it's yeah. Shout out, my heart goes out to the families.
Yeah, and rest in peace, Helena Hutchins, man. Just a soul left, man, a 9-year-old son, I think. Just heartbreaking, dude. Heartbreaking.
What the narrative that I've been seeing is that they are trying to blame local talent, like the local guys for it. They're trying to blame all of the replacements, all of the New Mexico crew. Like that's what I've been hearing. I don't know.
I wouldn't be surprised. Let's pass the buck.
Yep.
Yeah, but it was the production that brought in these non-union cats because all of your people walked off set because of the unfair treatment. So obviously you're going to go to, I can get a bunch of, that don't know any better.
Or who can I get on set right now? Yeah. And then they do a call and 5-10 people show up and they just go, you've been an armorer before. It's like, yeah, I've shot guns before. Great. Like, yeah.
It's maddening, bro. Maddening, man. Let's get on some brighter shit, man.
Yeah.
It's so depressing. I will want to say, because we didn't bring it up, if you've been watching our Kuya on the Kid, man, we promised you reviews like, every other episode or every episode. I don't know. But we did say we were going to mix it up. But let's just let them know that Infernal Affairs, it's going to be on the way. We'll do Infernal Affairs. What's the crazy movie? Highway?
Magic Mountain.
Magic Mountain. Not to be confused with the Disney attraction. Although I think I'd probably rather do that.
Magic Mountain, isn't that is also an amusement park in Santa Clarita, 45 minutes north of LA. It's a Six Flags, Magic Mountain.
Yeah. So what is it? Magic Mountain, Infernal Affairs, and a new one that we didn't say on the thing, but I'm curious at what you think about the film. Snakehead. I did a interview with writer-director Evan Jackson Leong. Good guy, cool cat. He really is. This film, he did the Linsanity documentary. I don't know if you remember.
Okay, that's him. Yeah, that's dope.
Him. He's the guy behind that, and worked with a bunch of people that I'm sure when you look him up, that you're a fan of as well, brother. But had this story that he wanted to talk about snakeheads. If you're familiar with snakeheads, those essentially those
human traffickers.
Traffickers, exactly. Trafficking immigrants in, and he wanted to originally tell the story with Lucy Liu, was the initial actress he had in mind, but she wasn't available. But he self-funded this thing. I think he did like a Kickstarter campaign, got a lot of our people to help get it down. It went through a bunch of different iterations, and now as of last week, Samuel Golden Films is the distributor, and so it's now being nationally distributed. But brother put a lot of hard work in, and it's great. He wanted to just kind of tell his own crime, Asian, gangster thing, but with a message, and it's, I don't know, he's a cool cat, and the film's great. I really enjoyed it. Perry Young from Warriors in it. He's in there, and Jade Wu plays Daima, who's like the elder mom gangster character in there, and I forgot the young actress who's the lead, but the lady who replaced Lucy Liu initially, she's amazeballs. Shuya Chang, shout out to Shuya Chang. Great film, but we'll be reviewing it. I checked it out. I'm looking forward to seeing what Lloyd thinks about it.
All right, I'll check it out. If I had known, I would have had it prepped for it. That's my bad.
I threw it at you at last minute too, anyway, so it's all love.
I will say, like, we had the conversation off camera about back in the day, people would say, hey, you know, we need to get more writers. We as Asians, as people of color, need to get more of us into the writer's room. And I think that was like a big lie, because where we needed to do was actually think bigger and get more people into the financing side of the movies, of the shows. And as proof, this movie, he goes, hey, you know what? I wrote it. It's not getting picked up. Or if it's getting picked up, they want to butcher it. Let me just figure out how to get this financed myself. And I think that is the most important part of our struggle and our journey in entertainment, is getting people in that boardroom, getting people at that C-level suite where they can make the decisions, not just write it. You can find writers.
Yeah.
You know,
and as you and I said too, like I agree with you. We need it. We definitely needed the financiers, because that's the money bags. You need the people that are going to fund the thing. But I also want us to write too. So I'm with you on that. I think there's more than enough. And to your point, yes, there's a lot of us writing, but there's not enough of us funding it, making it happen. And we definitely need that more so than anything, at least right now.
You know, whenever you see those movies where it is a vehicle for people of color, and then you see like a white character inserted in like a main character, I feel like that's the financer guy. It just goes, I want to see myself in this movie somewhere. Who represents me in this? Well, we don't have anyone for you.
Yeah.
Huh. Well, I would like someone like me to be in there. Can you put someone in? No, we can't. It doesn't fit. Well, I mean, I'm making the money. I would like it. Let's make that happen.
Yeah. That sounds about right. That sounds about white.
And I can't even blame him. Because I would do the same thing. I'm telling us to do exactly that.
Yeah.
Come up with the money and go, hey, I would like a great movie. I would love to make this happen, but I don't see myself in there. What can you do? And someone will be like, well, I guess I'll find an Asian character. Yeah. Make him an important character too. Thanks. I would do the same thing.
I got a hard one now for you. You just got me thinking about that. So that's definitely what we need here in America.
Yep.
So with that being said, you know how like Shang-Chi failed overseas, or at least in China, or they won't even take it, right? What do you think about that aspect of it? So like we want it here, we need that here, but yet, you know, we finally have these films that can now go overseas. They'll take the white films, but they won't take Asian-led American films over there. You know what I'm talking about? How difficult this is?
I do, but I'm not going to say anything disparaging about China.
Yeah.
You almost got me. To say something. I'm not going to say it. I think what we should do is work, and this is what we're always told.
I'm not trying to say anything disparaging either, but I feel, you know, it's just.
This is what I say. Where there's a will, there's a way. If the content is good, if the content is good, people are going to find it. And I think we need to start planning for those, start writing for those movies. And am I talking about, oh, we should do indie films? No. Write the story, make it the best story possible, film it the best possible way, and it will then find its own fan base. I think that the industry is an industry, and it worries too much about the numbers down to sabermetrics. What was opening week and what's this? And, you know, let's come up with new, fresh, better ideas. Let's come up with new, fresh stories, and let's tell those. And it will, if you do it right, it'll make money. I mean, look at all the cult. Think about that. We have a category for that. Cult classics. It didn't do well in the movie theaters, but yet they have a cult following because the content was good.
I'm with that. Yeah.
and with streaming, like streaming revenue, now it's like,
Yeah.
and I get it. Back in the 80s, you could only your revenue streams was like three, right? The box office, the at home, and now maybe syndication on TV. But now you've got those things, plus you've got video on demand, plus you've got streaming in perpetuity, renting at home on demand. Like you have all of these revenue streams, but yet we're still worried about what does the box office first weekend do. Very antiquated.
Yeah. I'm with that. This is like it's a system change that needs to happen, man. Like, yeah.
If COVID lockdown didn't change the film industry for the better, I don't know what is going to. It changed the theater industry. It almost decimated it. And it hasn't changed it moving forward. Like, oh, let's find new ways to do things. Like they're still very much stuck in a let's play movies industry. I don't know what the answer is, but COVID has changed, should have changed our thinking, and we should be preparing for that.
I agree. Yeah. Just all these things you have in mind, as you know, we're both content creators, filmmakers, entertainers. Just a lot of things that aren't being spoken enough, and we definitely need to start figuring this out. And it's hard, man. And
too many people have been doing it for too long, the way that it's been going on, that they don't want to change it because they've already made their stronghold in the system that is. They're not trying to lose their grip on what is for something that will be.
Yeah.
Okay. Lighter note.
Man, we keep getting on hard subjects, man. Like, damn, like,
I got something for you. I got something for you.
What's up, brother?
So there's a man that lives in, speaking of Magic Mountain, out in Santa Clarita. There's a different movie, different story. Man lives out in Santa Clarita and out by Magic Mountain, Six Flags, and there is a meal package that you can buy for $100. I think it's like $110, $150. So you could basically eat more or less 2 meals and a snack every day for the year. And he went out and bought it just so he could save money, so he could eat there every day of the year, so he could save money, so he could pay off his school debt.
Run that back on me one more time, man. I'm
sorry. I'm horrible explaining this.
Package, because like I'm familiar with like the stuff that you get delivered to your house or whatever.
No, he's going to an amusement park, Six Flags. He bought the meal pass at Six Flags, and he had a meal, 2 meals there a day, every day
at the park. I thought you were like those ready to make meals. I got completely lost. I got completely sidetracked on that.
Let me try this again.
You know what I'm talking about? You know, like fresh, Hello Fresh type.
Let me try this
type of stuff.
Let me try this again. You might want to edit that one out. Let's try it again. So in news, there's a guy who went to the amusement park every day for a year because he bought the meal ticket pass for like $150. So he can get 2 meals a day every day for the year, but he did it for like 6 years. And he just saved all of that money, spending the $110, $150 a year and getting meals every day at the park, so he could save up money to pay off his student loans.
I think that's ingenious. But are you also paying for tickets, or already that's part
I think that's factored in.
Wow. I think it's kind of ingenious. If single guy, I don't live too far, it's easy to get there, whatever, however that was. I think it's kind of ingenious, to be honest.
I think that the Asian in me goes, why did we not think of that before?
I think it's,
where you go 100. So basically, he only spent $150 on food a year for like 6 or 7 years.
That's fucking crazy. But props to the brother. I don't know how that got pulled off, but I think it's ingenious.
How much money do you spend? Do you think you spend
Shit.
on not just food for the family, but just like your fast food for lunch and maybe on the way home for dinner a year? Ballpark, a month, a week.
I'm the wrong Asian for that. Again, I give the money to my wife, pays the bills. I don't do any of that kind of accounting, but I know I spend thousands a month, bro. Thousands a month
on lunch, dinner, on the way home.
I would say all of that. Yeah. Wow. Well, I would say it's probably hundreds. I don't know. I'm bad with math. Again, I'm the wrong Asian for that. But
how often do you like? Okay, you're at work. Do you have your lunch
today? I probably drops like $30 today.
$30. Is that one meal or two meals?
2 meals. Well, 2 meals and some snacks and coffee. Because Starbucks is expensive, you know.
Yep.
Starbucks adds up. Did have like some sushi and Whole Foods in DC is kind of, you know, that's another upcharge.
Were you in DC today?
Yeah.
Oh, that's a hike.
So
I will. Okay, so $35 a day. Let's say 3 days a week. That's $100.
My Whole Foods purchase was probably about $25, and then I had the coffee at Starbucks, and that's $6.93 I think every day.
Wow! What are you getting at Starbucks at $6.30 a day?
A venti Java chip frap.
Okay.
I need the caffeine, man. I need that.
That's the sugar talking, bro.
But yeah, that's $7 pretty much every day. Lunch probably is about 15 to 20 sometimes, some days.
Damn.
Depending on where I go.
So this guy goes, hey, if I can save, let's say $200, $300 a month on food. If I can save $300 a month on food, multiply that by 12, multiply that by 6 years. I should have my debt paid off. And he did it. He fucking did it.
I got to give that man props. Yeah. Would you? So you would have done it too?
I mean, if I had thought about it, most definitely. Given I don't think I've ever lived that close to an amusement park.
I gotta understand that proximity because you got a fucking park. Like I'm thinking just Disney World off the, out the rip right now. Like shit, even fucking, I'm right here by King's Dominion and Six Flags.
King's Dominion makes sense. King's Dominion, because you park and you can just walk in. So think of like you have an hour break.
Mm-hmm.
And let's say you time it right where it's like the lunch and then whatever the cutoff time for dinner, so the early dinner, let's say you roll in at like 3 and at 3:30 dinner starts. So you order one thing when you get there, you eat it for lunch and then you grab the thing for the dinner and you take it home. I could see yourself
right at the front at King's Dominion.
Yeah.
And I think assuming the parking's already paid for too, along with the ticket to get inside King's Dominion. I can't, that's gangster as fuck.
Because it's not
the logistical aspect of it, like planning that crazy.
Because it's not Disney, so it's not like you're parked 3 miles away and you got to take a shuttle in. Like it's like King's Dominion, it's Six Flags.
Yeah.
Like, could you imagine what it's like on a Wednesday? Like nobody's parked on a Wednesday during school. You pull right out. Hey, you know what? I'm gonna park it right in the front. Just leave the car running. Let me just jump out. These people see me every day. Every day. I can't imagine how disrespected everyone in the food stand would feel. Like, oh, you're just gonna be here again every day? I've seen you 300 days this year.
That's wild, bro. Absolutely wild. Props to that brother.
And he's not Asian. He's white.
White dude.
Yeah. Remember all of those years where your parents were like, we can't go to an amusement park, it's too expensive.
That's crazy, man.
Okay. On another note, switching topics.
What else we got?
Harold and Kumar. Are you familiar?
Of course.
So John Cho.
Yep. And
Kal Penn.
Kal Penn, yes.
Kal Penn just came out and he's basically announced that he's engaged to his partner of 11 years. Yeah. Congratulations to him. I feel Kal Penn openly is gay, or Yeah, I think he announced that he's gay, openly gay, and he announced that he is now engaged to his partner of like 11 years.
Props to him. Okay, I just looked that up.
Yeah.
Wow.
I am I am happy for him, and I'm
Yeah.
also sad for him
Same. Same.
because yeah, he left the industry to work on in DC for a while,
Yeah.
and I can't imagine that those two things don't correlate.
Yeah.
Like he stepped away from the industry. Yeah, it seems like if it is true, my heart breaks for him for having to not be himself for 11 plus years.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Wow. Props to him, man. You know,
Very excited.
I'm all about people being their true self, man. That's who I want to meet. Like, I want to know I want to be talking to the real Lloyd right now. Like
Right.
you know, and I understand that people aren't ready in every aspect, you know, and that's just what saddens me, you know.
Yep.
So, good
Happy-
for him.
I'm all about happy, healthy, and safe. Are you
Exactly.
happy? Are you healthy? Are you safe?
Hell yeah.
And
Same.
I'm so happy that Cal Penn, he's the guy, he's one of the guys I would look up to. It's like, oh shit, he's out there doing it.
Same. I really looked up. Yeah, and I still do. Even more so now. Like,
Yeah.
bro. Yeah, man.
So again, my heart breaks to think that for over 11 years, he's been having to not be himself, and I can understand why he would have left the industry if those things correlate. But I'm fucking rejoicing the fact that he can be who he actually is to himself. Like, that's fucking amazing.
Shout out to Cal Penn, man. Like, for real. That's beautiful, but bittersweet.
Yeah.
As you're saying, just the fact that he's had to, that he
and on top of that, the fact that we can rejoice it now. 11 years ago, I don't want to say that I don't know how it would have been received, but I can only imagine that this is way better received than it would have been 11, 12, 15 years ago.
Yeah. And I'm kind of sad about that too. I'm curious how the world would, I would like to think, I don't think I would be as outspoken. I would hope I would be. I'm trying to think of the words. You know what I'm saying? How like we feel comfortable now, you and I, to talk on this and be outspoken about it and be proud of it. But were we in like the 90s, I don't know if culture was, we were in a culture or society that was where that is now.
Yeah.
We definitely as a society has changed. And because I was in the military, and you just
11 years ago, to be specific, would have been 2010.
You
2010.
Huh?
2010.
Yeah. Like, I know definitely 2000s, it would have probably, I can't see me talking like this with my homies. Or even just like the attitudes, what I'm saying? Very East Coast, Yeah.
But also, I was 20, like 2000. Yeah. If you look at 2000, I was 20. I didn't know anything from anything.
Yeah.
I would have been fine with it. But, I grew up in a very progressive part of New England. I'm not going to lie. So I would have been fine with it. But would I have the same outlook? Of course not. Of course not.
I would have been fine with it, but I think that I wouldn't have talked. I think the homies that I had, they weren't all there yet. I think that's the problem.
Yeah.
And why he felt as well. The people around him weren't there like it is now.
Yep.
So straight up New York cast, man. That just, that's gay. Just everything. Just weren't, like that. They just
pause.
Just like, everything.
Yeah. Because that was the time. Pause. No homo.
Yeah.
You're like,
no homo. Yeah.
Really?
Bruh. And that whole thing too, that became a joke, a quote unquote joke. Really?
Mm-hmm.
And what's wild is how it has evolved. Those same motherfuckers saying it, bruh, they was gay, and some of them that finally came out.
Yep.
You get gayer than like what the fuck?
I can't remember.
It was maddening, bro.
There was a comedian that said it, and I think it's a kind of a joke that perpetuates itself. It's like the person who is the most outlandishly anti-gay is gay. Like, that's I butchered the joke, but I feel like that's very similar to all the guys that were like way over the top. I was like, are you hiding something? Like you could be you. Just stop being a dick about it.
You know what? Now, okay, we're touching some very sensitive topics right now. This actually just reminded me of something, and because you brought it up, Mr. Comedian, let's go there.
Let's go.
Chappelle, the latest controversy with my man Chappelle. How do you feel about that whole thing? And if you can reiterate what's going down with that in the whole controversy.
Dave Chappelle is on his ongoing, I don't say bout, I don't have the word for it, but he keeps on bumping heads with the LGBTQT plus community. I will say, as a comedian, I understand. Watch the
special yet?
I did.
I haven't seen it yet.
It's,
so you know the joke in question?
It's not so.
Or is maybe it a series of jokes? Because I haven't seen it yet.
Okay, so it's every special he addresses it, and I think that it's kind of like this pendulum, right? Where he's like trying to narrow down what he's trying to say, and he's saying something, and it's not quite hitting where, and he comes back and tries to say it again. I think he's finally been very succinct in what he's trying to say. It's like, hey, I understand that the community is marginalized, but my people are marginalized as well. Don't marginalize my people to make yourself feel less marginalized, is what I took from it. Again, this is outside looking in. I'm part of neither community. But as a comedian, it's like I'm very in awe watching him really dial down so clearly in a message that I've been watching him try to put out there for so many years. And he finally has nailed it on the head, but he's already built a level of hate, I guess, against him that people don't want to hear what he has to say. I don't think he's not against the community, or so it doesn't seem in his sets, but he is very much rallying for his own community. Sure, are some of the jokes that he said about it, or like the way he positioned it, kind of hacky? I think so, but who am I to say what Dave Chappelle is hacky? I think the problem out of that whole conversation that is his special is he basically pulled the "my friend is black" reference, where he's like, I have a friend that, is a transgender female, so it's okay. Anything that I say from here on out is okay. That was kind of where I was like, oh, that kind of missed the mark. But the story in which that he brought that up, he didn't bring it up just to bring it up for a carte blanche. He brought it up to frame a story. I think, yeah, it's like The Boy Who Cried Wolf, where we're so used to hearing him punch down on the community, trying to say what he's saying. He's finally said what he needs to say, and we still think he's punching down.
Got it. I don't really have a complete feeling about it. I just hope for the better, because I've always been a longtime fan of his. Like, yeah, I hate that there's actually accusations, as you stated, that he's punching down, and I hope that that's not the case. And maybe that's because of the framework, like you were saying, right?
I think once a comedian, and I'm speaking specifically on comedians, once they're known to go, oh, this guy makes hack Chinese guys joke, whatever.
Yeah.
Like, I'm always looking for it now, that's just kind of the way we are.
Yeah.
You punch me once, I'm always going to be looking for the punch again. I will say, as a person in a marginalized demographic, I will say you kind of have to listen to some degree. If I'm saying, hey, that joke's not cool, it's got to be examined. You can't just say, I don't mean it that way. Okay, great, but the joke's not cool.
I agree.
I think the community is saying, hey, that joke's not cool,
and he's not listening for the most part.
He comes back and he's like, okay, let me dial it down. Let me get more specific. And then it's like, hey, that's not cool. And he's like, okay, let me just, and he keeps on like shaving away at it.
Yeah.
But this is the first time I actually clearly understand what he's saying. I mean, he even said it. It's like, yeah, you're marginalized. We're marginalized. Don't marginalize us. It's kind of what he comes across with.
And that's how I think what his was the entire message and approach. But now it's just like there's so much of the world that's climbing on top of this whole thing now that are just want to take him down on one side and other side. Oh, now he's one of us. There's like a commentary that I saw online or Twitter or whatever. Oh, did you see that he's touring with Joe Rogan? And it's like, so you can see where he's gone now because he's like this of the same Joe Rogan style cloth. But for me, I'm like, he's really been always that way. And like, I don't know, like in just different respects. But you know, Joe Rogan obviously has his own kind of certain type fan base, and I can understand the feelings about Joe Rogan. You know, I'm kind of so on him. But the same with Chappelle, you know, they have their loyal. They both have their loyal fan bases and stuff. But
they've been doing shows together way before the pandemic,
and that's the thing too. Like, you guys really don't know the true essence about both of them too. So it's all about perspective and knowing the full story. And
there's a certain level of fame, and I don't want to say like, oh, movie star or whatever, but there's a certain level of fame where all publicity is good publicity. So it doesn't matter. You can't cancel him. You can't cancel Joe Rogan just because they're just at that height. They're at a height where unless they come up with something really atrocious, what they say is just not going to cancel them.
Yeah.
I think that there is just people understand that there's ways to make money off of them without having to deal with them ever. And me putting out a blog about why it upsets me is going to get me hits, you know, and people go, oh, well, there's a way to make money that has nothing to do with taking money away from him. I don't even have to interview them. I don't have to get them on the phone. I could just write my opinions, and no matter what, it's going to make me money. And I feel like that's kind of where a lot of it is.
Yeah.
He is now reaching the conversation of just because I'm pro-black doesn't make me anti anything, you know, like anti whatever the term is. I'm not anti something because I'm pro-black. I am pro-black and I'm stating things. If you take it as I'm anti whatever group you're in, that's on you, but I'm pro-black first. And I feel like that's kind of the conversation we're moving into.
I hear that. Yeah.
Now, was it funny? It was pretty good. It was pretty funny. There's a lot of funny bits in there. But he's now,
Closer, I think, right? It's called his latest
called The Closer.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was entertaining, but I would say that he's at the level where he doesn't have to be hilarious.
Yeah.
It just has to be funny enough.
Oh man. Yeah.
It's Dave Chappelle.
This is the way he carries himself. People are gonna laugh.
You're talking about him and a special that you haven't even seen. Like, that is where we are.
Yeah. Wild.
Go watch it. Go watch it. The last thing I wanted to talk about, and this is maybe more up your alley, Facebook changed its name. Or
is it though now? Is it officially changed?
The app, the social media website is not changed its name. The parent company is now called Meta.
Oh, I thought they were changing the actual name of the app too.
As far as I know, no. All of the apps are going, all of the customer facing apps and websites are going to be the same. WhatsApp's not changing, Facebook's not changing, Instagram. But the Meta is like the metaverse, more virtual reality things. He keeps on saying something about a metaverse, which I can only assume is going to be augmented reality and or virtual reality. Have you heard anything on your end about anything that revolves around that?
Not totally yet.
Okay.
Other than restrict. You know, be careful what you're doing. You know, if you inhabit or have an account.
Interesting.
If you're talking my day gig. That's
I am.
The only conversation is they came out with a new kind of it's like a 50 page PDF doc. They didn't print it out because, save paper. Let's not cut trees, which is surprising.
Okay.
They're always cutting trees and killing the planet. But we got sent a PDF to read, and it kind of gives you step by step on all various type of social networks, how to properly lock down your profile in every way. Very helpful. And even if you're on like say Tinder, they even broke it down to like if you're on dating apps, how to lock your stuff down and what you can and cannot share. It's the most I got to give them kudos on that. It's over the years, it's always kind of been stated and kind of and there's like some slight trainings on how to lock things down. This is a very detailed document on how to protect your identity on the internet that I've seen in some time. I got to give them kudos on it.
Is that internal only, or is that shareable?
You know what? I will double check on that because, I would like to, I know I'm going to do it personally within my own household, and lock certain stuff down in certain family. But I don't know if it's, classified to share to the rest of the world.
I would love,
I would probably get you a copy of it, but I need to double check on that.
Yeah, of course. And it's just one of those things where, things are getting more and more advanced, like hacking. And next thing I know, our 12 followers, we lose our 12 followers because one of us gets hacked, asking for cash apps. I don't know.
Right. Yeah.
I'm curious to where the metaverse is going. I mean, virtual, obviously, but especially with the rise of cryptocurrency, I'm curious, like, this has got to be
stuff too. I don't know if we talked on that. And
want to talk about it?
We should talk right now. Are you into that Bitcoin? Did we talk on that kind of stuff?
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
I don't think so.
But are you one of those people?
A little bit.
I have different friends that are a little bit here and there, and I've picked up on a little bit, but I'm like, I don't know.
Okay, nothing. You own none. You know nothing about it.
Nah. And the whole NFT thing too, because as artists, I have a bunch of friends that are making NFTs now. Let's make some money off of that. Hey, Patrick, you can do a Show Pal Show NFT. What? Yeah. I don't know about all that, man. Like, yeah.
Well, I mean, if you actually, when you bought video games and you actually downloaded the pre-launch codes for the downloadable content and the extra VC, you'd have a better idea, but you don't. So, with cryptocurrency, it's virtual money, so to speak, right? But right now it's trading as virtual stocks. And I think we're all treating it like virtual stock, where we buy some, we put money into it and it goes up and our value goes up. And then when it goes down, we cry, but we're not actually using it as a currency. And I think that's why it's like kind of problematic. Until I can use cryptocurrency to buy your $7 coffee, or buy a hot dog on a street vendor, it's still going to be seen as a stock. And I feel like as long as it's a stock, it's going to be volatile. Think of being able to buy a coffee with your Tesla stock.
Yeah. I right now, I just see it as nerds, which all the love, props to them. Nerds have figured out a way to take real money from dim-witted people who don't know any better. Not saying that people that are invested into it, but props to them. You're getting money off of people that think that they're investing in something, but it's not really going to go. I don't know. That's just kind of, but that's coming at me from like knowledge, And I'm not saying you are, because I know people that are, but I
think there's a lot of real world applications that we are limited, that we cannot do based on the way the banking system is set up.
Yeah.
And I don't want to, I don't know it well enough to go into the back end and go, this laws and stuff. But
I think more also the NFT thing. That's what is really like, what?
Sure. It's buying art, digital art. So Picasso, or like this painting right here, my mom did. Shout out to my mom. It's an actual painting, and you can touch it, you can feel it. But imagine if she made this digitally
here. But if you want it, you want it because you play a video game, so you can have it, and you can only have it if you're the user. Who gives a fuck? I'm living in the real world right now. Like,
okay, Grandpa,
I have the painting here.
Yeah. And I think,
yes,
and,
I know it's grandpa-ish.
I think that's kind of like the metaverse. Like I'm assuming that they're going, oh, you have an NFT, hang it in your virtual wall, and nobody else can have it because it's one of a kind. I don't know. I don't know how it all works, but it's changing. Did did your mom ever send money back to the Philippines?
All the time.
Okay. How did she do it? Like walk me through that process.
I don't exactly know, but I know it was like a check and Balagbayan box where buy a bunch of stuff that she would be in an envelope and then with a bunch of other goods that she would send back to the Philippines.
Okay.
Called
And
a
then
Balagbayan box, I think.
yeah, a balikbayan box where it's a box of stuff
Yeah.
that she'd have to mail
Yeah.
and they would go via ship.
Yeah.
And then it costs her $150 to send the whole box. And then they might get there in 3 months.
Yeah.
And then they got to go get that check and then deposit it at a bank account, assuming they have a bank account.
Yeah.
Which they need ID. Okay. You get the point. It's long and drawn out. We're talking like 4 or 5 months minimum.
Yeah.
From your phone, you can't even wire money. Like, think of being able to digitally send money to a person on the phone right away as they stand on the street. Go, hey, you need $10. Here's $10 worth of Bitcoin. Boom, send, and then they get it.
But that's like I'm on Cash App. I have Cash App. Like,
yep,
hey,
but
the money
you,
for the food.
but they can't use Cash App over there.
Oh, you're talking in the Philippines?
Yeah. Or overseas. I mean, I'm just trying to find like real world application. You don't, I mean, even if you wire money, it takes time. Cash App, again, assuming you could send me money, I could send you money, whatever. But the Philippines or third world countries or other countries, like there's hurdles. You can't do it that way. They actually have to have an account in America in order to have a Cash App account. And then they have to have access to it over there. Think of just being from phone to phone. There you go. Here's $1,000 instantly in their account. Now, of course, how they cash it, that's completely on their end, but it's digital currency.
Okay. I see what you're trying to explain to me now. So because of the way all right. That's how they're getting that money like that.
Yeah, we are spoiled because we all have an American bank account, an American ID, and I can Cash App you, Venmo, PayPal, Zelle, all of those things, but they're all attached to an ID that's attached to a bank account.
Got it. Okay. That's the first time anybody's really made that kind of clear to me to that degree like that. And in regards to that's this Bitcoin.
Yeah.
Thing.
Yeah. Virtual. Yeah. Yeah. So
okay.
I would say until
I understand that.
Yeah. Until we can get everyone on board just being like, oh, I've got X amount of money on my phone. I can buy a hot dog at the stand or Coke or whatever. It's just going to be seen as a stock. That's why everyone's excited about it, because I could put $100 on it now. And then in a few hours, I can make $200 or whatever, because the market's so volatile, because it's seen as a commodity, not as a currency.
Hey, thank you for that, Lloyd. I appreciate that.
Hey, listen, people. I am not a financial advisor. I don't work for Forex. I'm just regurgitating information.
I think I understand that. So this is the big kind of Bitcoin scenario that I'm trying to understand, and that's what you kind of.
And there's hundreds of different coins. So if Bitcoin is a
I still
currency,
think NFT shit is dumb as fuck, but
so I'm on board with you as far as that's concerned. Like, oh, let me just put together a show logo and somebody can buy it. And the great thing about it is, like, your followers can go, oh, it's $50. Let me buy this one. Maybe it's a certain color. It's a Halloween, whatever. And they go, oh, let me buy it for $50, and they hold on to it. And then when you get big, and now someone goes, wait, I saw this Halloween NFT Showpow logo. Who's got it? Who owns it? He owns it. I'll give you $5,000 for it. You're literally rewarding your fans, your followers, for being in at the beginning.
Crazy. Okay.
Could you imagine being that asshole that saved a Michael Jordan game-worn pair of sneakers back in 1985? And then you're like, you walk in and your mom's like, oh, you got a pair of 15 size shoes. Why? Oh, because Michael Jordan gave it to me. Okay, what are you going to do with it? Nothing. And then you turn around and sell it for $1 million today. Kind of the same concept.
I got that because I have a lot of original artwork, one of a kind original artwork in my house.
Oh, yeah, that's right. We talked about that. And now you met somebody at a Comic-Con and you spent $5 for it. And now you can turn around and sell it for $500.
But that's tangible stuff. I think I'm having difficulty with this online video game bullshit type. I don't know. That's the wild aspect for me that I'm having a problem with. But I see
get
your
it.
point. I see your point.
I get it. And is it I mean, you got to remember it's the ownership versus the tangible. I mean, you are upset that you can't touch it, but if you touch it, you can own it in your mind, right? Well, if I own it, I own it. And the thing is like, oh, maybe you create a design. You create a design and I buy it off of you for $50. And then I can turn around and rent it out as a logo for something else and I get royalties or whatever it might be. I don't know where the limit is, but I understand that if you can stand out above the tangible versus intangible or tangible versus digital, the analog versus the digital, like it is understandable. Imagine buying a Picasso for $5 and you're just upset because you can't hang it on your wall.
I feel you, bro.
All right. That's all I got. Anything else you want to talk about before we get out of here? Because you're looking at me like I'm crazy.
My man is blowing our minds here at the very end, dude. And I appreciate you, man. As always, I love you, man. This has been a wild one, man. We got into some wild and some deep subjects, some controversial topics. And
I'll probably and listen, I know I stand on one side of a lot of things and I don't mean to offend anybody. I just give you my perspective and I might be wrong. If I'm wrong, I'm okay to have a conversation. Like we have this conversation. I'm okay with learning something. And if I've upset anyone listening, reach out to me. Boy Lee Comedy everywhere. I'll be more like, I don't mean any harm. And I understand, even though I don't mean any harm, I can cause harm, but I don't mean it. I would love to have a conversation. Tell me why I'm wrong, and I will try to figure that out in my brain.
I like that. Well said, Loy. We gotta keep lines of communication. We're all, or we should all be learning and growing and building, and just that's what makes the world go round, man. And I just think that's, I appreciate you being outspoken about it and at least sharing your opinion, because a lot of people are afraid to share their opinions or how they feel, but also you're also being receptive to, to being challenged and to, all the way around, man. I just think it's beautiful, man. I appreciate you, dude. So for me, I appreciate you.
I will definitely say, like, I know I'm an idiot, but if you want to start the conversation calling me an idiot, like, I'm going to have apprehensions having this conversation. I already know I'm a freaking moron, but telling me why I'm wrong, respectfully, I'll be more happy to listen for sure. Yeah.
There you go. Lloyd, man, right. I love you, man. I appreciate it.
Where can they find you, bro?
The Legend Kuya P, Twitter, TikTok, and IG, over at Show Pal Show, Nerds of Color, and of course, NRW New Release Wednesday, where nerds rule the world, with my brother Lloyd Lee, doing this Kuya and the Kid. Another great one, bro. And we'll catch up. We'll hopefully get these reviews in there, because we still actually even have a longer list of other films. I don't know if you remember.
We have a shit ton of list
of just stuff we want to do. If we get to it, we get to it. All right, let's just say we'll get to it. But yeah, again, you brought up Helena Hutchins, because Alec Baldwin's getting a lot of, he's being known for what happened, but the woman that died who shouldn't have died. Rest in peace to Helena Hutchins, and also congratulations to Kal Penn, man.
Fucking happy.
That was news to me, so I didn't hear about that, and bittersweet, but happy for that.
Happy. You know what?
Definitely happy for that.
Brother. I will mourn the loss, but let's celebrate the now.
Hell yeah, love that. That's a great way to end this, man.
Fuck yeah. I love you guys. Have a good night.
Deuces.